Welcome back to the Top Prospects Podcast, an elite podcast. Hey, we have a little switch for you.
Let's go.
I will be hosting the show today. So, the topic is obviously going to be about my Celtics. I didn't want to wear the Kemba jersey again, but here we are. All right, so the Celtics have currently won 4 straight games, and they are now 19-17 and hold sole possession of the 4 seed in the Eastern Conference, despite the early struggles that we have seen. There's a lot of questions about this team. First off, we're going to start with you, Jay Costello. Who would you rather see at center right now, Robert Williams or Daniel Tice?
You know, before I give my opinion, I would just like to show off my custom-made Ennis Cantor All-Star jersey.
Hey,
made by myself.
the best number 11.
Damn, where can I get all those?
Exactly. All right, now my opinion. Definitely Robert Williams. Whenever I see Daniel Tice on the floor, I just get like angry. Like point guards rebound over him, like literally, like he's like what 6'7", 6'8". Like it actually pains me to see him like out on the floor, and like I think Robert Williams should be starting, obviously. But yeah, he has an artery condition, but like he doesn't have to play the most minutes. I think he should just start and play with our top guys. I feel like it would be very beneficial to our team, and I despise Daniel Tice.
Agreed. I'm not going to give my opinion right now, but I agree.
Now, Cos, I'm not a big Daniel Tice guy, right?
Yeah.
But there's one center in particular I dislike more on our roster. That's Tristan Thompson.
You dislike him more?
I dislike Tristan. I think that he should not be, like, we've seen that the 2 center lineup doesn't work in Boston.
Yeah.
And many fans have harped on it. It's a horrible choice.
That's it.
It's horrible. The two center lineup. And I think that'll change once Marcus Smart comes back. But the 2 center lineup just ain't it. I think Tice still deserves to be the starting center.
All right.
But I think Robert Williams deserves to be center too. Now I say that because Daniel Tice offers a lot more versatility on the offensive end. He's shooting from 3 better, and he's overall a way better shooter than Robert Williams. Robert Williams is great, obviously, around the rim and in the paint. He's a shot blocker, he's a lob threat, and he's just super athletic. But I still think Daniel Tice should be our starting center due to the versatility that he offers.
I feel like Robert Williams can also like even play power forward. Like he's very athletic. Tristan Thompson. What's up?
My apologies. I thought you were done talking.
Nah, it's all good, man. Tristan Thompson, like I don't like him either. Like his defense against like point guards driving in is pretty terrible too. Just like seeing like, I don't know, he can't get a block either. I just feel like our centers are very weak, and Robert Williams is a very exciting player, and I feel like he makes our team better. But Bass, I respect your opinion too.
He's proven to be that he can handle that center 2 position, and I think once Smart comes back, he'll overtake Tristan Thompson and be that guy off the bench to be.
I think you offer a very interesting idea of starting both of them, because that's something that not a lot of people are even throwing out there. They're comparing them against each other. And I mean, when you're looking at the stats, I mean, Daniel Tice is averaging a few more points, but Robert Williams is averaging 1.5 blocks a game, which is pretty good out of center position, and averaging 6 rebounds. So I think I would rather see Robert Williams playing the center position, but I don't hate the idea of Daniel Tice playing the 4. Daniel Tice can obviously stretch the floor, but to have him as that lead guy in the center protecting the paint, not a big fan of it. I mean, I just saw this stat the other day, and I even sent it to you guys, was that Robert Williams has played 359 minutes less than Daniel Tice this year. And now counting the Raptors game, they have the same amount of rebounds, and Robert Williams has more blocks. So I think those 2 stats are big out of the center position, the 2 most important ones for a center. And Robert Williams is leading both of them, playing 359 less minutes. I mean, I think he's established himself as a better center, and we've seen the center position be a huge struggle for the Celtics over the past couple of years. I mean, this dates back to DeMarcus Cousins times when everyone was saying trade for him. So, I mean, I think it's been a struggle to find a true center that we can rely on a championship run. And with the way the Celtics have been playing, obviously the 4-game win streak's nice and all, but we need someone that's going to get us over the edge of the Bucks, the Nets, even the Lakers going out that far. And I don't see Daniel Tice being our starting guy, being able to get us over that hump. And I think it's time to get Robert Williams the minutes he deserves.
Now, it's interesting you talk about teams like the Nets and the Bucks, John, because if Robert Williams is their starting center, he's listed as 6'8". And if he's the starting center, he's going up against DeAndre Jordan, who's way taller than that, and Brook Lopez, who's taller than that as well. So it'd be a mismatch just from that aspect. I know he's athletic enough to give himself a couple extra inches.
Athletic with a 7'8" wingspan. I mean, I think he's.
But that 6'8" against 7-footers is tough.
Oh, I agree 100%. But I mean, what's Daniel Tice doing against big men?
You're right. You're
I mean,
right.
Daniel Tice,
Nothing.
I agree with 100% what the cost is. Like, it genuinely frustrates me seeing him on the court.
Yeah,
I see him and I just want to like scream at him. I mean, he's like an automatic foul if you drive against him. And as the joke's been tossed around by UBass especially, was you get like +5 shooting attributes every time he closes out. Like if he closes out, it's an automatic make. Like,
Oh, yeah.
It's just frustrating. He fouls someone and then he just complains about it. That's all he does. And I think he's a very valuable player to have on a team. I think he's a great role player, but he can't be your main guy, especially where we don't have an overpowered like point guard. Like we're kind of more of a balanced team. You need to be balanced in all 5, I believe. And Daniel Tice just doesn't offer that to us.
You know, I wonder how many times he's actually fouled out of a game. It feels like it's every single game he's fouling out. And like literally he just complains about it and then like nothing happens. So it's just very frustrating to see like your center as a huge weak point in your team. Like beginning of the season, I thought Tristan Thompson would be a great addition, but he's been kind of mediocre. And I just feel like the double center starting lineup is just not really working out.
Last season, I just saw this stat was Daniel Tice was averaging 5.5 fouls per 36.
That's terrible.
He's like he's basically averaging fouling out per 36. And that's
actually terrible.
That's just absurd. And another thing we always talk about a lot is the worst thing that can happen to the Celtics every game is Daniel Tice hitting like 2 threes. Because once he hits a few, he thinks he's hot and he's going to keep shooting them. And he's proven he can shoot a lot better this year compared to previous years. But is that the guy you want taking that many threes?
Oh, God, no.
Like, could be just me.
Right. Can I interrupt real quick?
Go for it. I've been waiting for you to.
So I've been waiting. So that argument right there, it can also be applied to Marcus Smart. Like hits a couple threes,
yeah.
there's like the next Steph Curry. And he keeps shooting.
I
But
agree.
I want to go back earlier when someone said that like Daniel Tice like 6'8", like going up against like 7-footers, like obviously it's not gonna work out. But if you think of like the top centers in the league, Bam Adebayo, who's literally 6'9", is better than most centers in the league. So I feel like that height argument doesn't matter as much as you think it does, because in that case, Boban's dominant, and Boban's a bench warmer in the Clippers or Mavericks or wherever the hell he is. I don't know. But my thing with Daniel Tice, so I'm gonna give positives and negatives about the 3 Celtic centers. So starting with Daniel Tice, positive about him is that out of all the centers on that team, I believe he has the highest IQ. Like in some cases, no, but most of the time, Daniel Tice makes like the right play. Yes, he gets fouled, like fouls called him in 24/7 all the time, but like he has like quick reflexes and he knows like what to do. Does it work out all the time? Obviously not, but he's still a really smart player. Now, for negatives, that man might be the unluckiest person in NBA history when it comes to referees. He can breathe on someone and it's a foul. He can close out on someone, it's a make. It's like there's something about him like is just bad luck. I don't know if he stepped on a crack or something on the sidewalk and like got bad luck. I don't know. He killed a ladybug. I don't know what he did, but he just had bad luck. Now, Do I think he should be the starting center? Yes, I think he should remain the starting center for this team. If you put, say, Robert Williams as starting center, that's just not like in the short run. Yeah, it's gonna work out, but Robert Williams doesn't give you that stretch ability that Daniel Tice does. Also, Robert Williams' IQ is also a reason why I feel like he's not starting. He's just like watching some Celtics games from a non-Celtics fan. I can see like sometimes I can see why like Robert Williams needs to be on the floor, but most of the time, like I can see what Brad Stevens is doing by not like starting him and like not giving him the starter minutes. Robert Williams can be a really good center one day, maybe like top 10 in the league at one point. Like he can be, but he's just too young and inexperienced, and he doesn't have like the strength up here to be a starting center for, say, a championship team that you're supposed to be like. Now, Tristan Thompson. Tristan Thompson is one of the best offensive rebounders in the league. That is one thing that I will give. He can rebound the hell out of the ball. That is all. He's always been doing that, even back in Cleveland. Now, that's probably the only positive I'll give him, is that he can rebound the ball. He can't shoot. Every time he gets a rebound, he puts it up, and most of the time gets blocked or just straight up misses. So Tristan Thompson can be a good player off the bench. Like he can like come into the game and like say like help rebound, like him and Tice together, like he can help rebound and stuff. But I definitely don't think he should be starting. Like he should be getting like limited minutes, in my opinion. Like I don't know why he
Yeah,
gets
I
so much
completely
playing
agree with
time,
that.
bro. Like besides rebounding, I don't see what other positive he brings to the team.
One
And
thing,
honestly,
go on, Koss.
all right, thank you. I was looking at a box score for a game recently, and I see Tristan Thompson's like stat line. Man shot like 3 for 10. Like you're a center. How do you like? I don't know. Like when you're a center, you
Terrible.
can't shoot, and you pretty much only like put up like hook shots in the paint. Like you should not be shooting 3 for 10. I feel like that's god awful, especially for a center.
Phil, to bounce off one of your points was about
What up?
Robert Williams doesn't offer you the ability to stretch the floor, which I'm assuming you're talking mostly on the offensive side with that.
Yeah.
So I agree with that point and all, but it's not like Daniel Tice's ability to stretch the floor is producing like absurdly great offensive numbers from him. I mean, he's still only putting up 9 points compared to Williams' 7. So
Yep.
it's not like you're getting yourself a huge offensive edge. And when you have other people around you like Tatum, Brown, Kemba, we've already talked about, but you get the point. When you have talent around you to score the ball, do you really need that other stretch option? I mean, I feel like we have plenty of people who like to stay around the perimeter and shoot the ball. Like, do you really need your center to be stretching the floor too, or do we need someone
Yes,
who can defend the? So you
that
would,
opens up the lane.
It's
Yeah,
not about
Tatum
how
and
many.
Brown and Kemba can find more success driving to the hole if a center is it sitting in the corner closer to Tice than he is camping in the paint guarding Robert Williams. That
It's not about
offers
how
up
many
the
shots
lane and more drives for our better players if Tice is out there as opposed to Robert Williams.
I'll agree with you on that one, but is that what you're willing to give up in order to lose on the defensive side?
It's not like Ty's a bad defender.
Tice
But-
is more of a team defender, where Robert Williams is more of an individual defender. Where Tice will come up and help, and as Phil pointed out, his IQ is pretty good on the defensive end. Robert Williams is a big, flashy guy. He'll pack a shot into the third row and throw down dunks. So he's a lot more of an individual defender, but he's not as much of a team defender as Tice is, and I think that's where Brad likes him more than Robert Williams does right now.
It's all basically on what Brad wants. If Brad wants a rebounding like slasher that can go pick and roll, like throw an alley oop to him, like basically like another Rudy Gobert, then like he can go that direction. But if he wants to space the floor for people like Tatum and Kemba to like ISO, then like he'll go in that direction. That's basically what he thinks he wants his team to shape up like.
All right, and then totally forgot what I was just about to say.
Me too.
You know, it's really tough because I feel like there are times where like Tice has his moments. He has like against I think it was against the Wizards where he made in like 2 clutch like mid-range shots. But it's just I don't know, man. Like he just like gets me so frustrated sometimes. And like seeing like, Phil, that you had a good point where Robert Williams, like he's not really up there sometimes. I've seen him made some really low IQ plays, which that actually is a really good point. I must agree with that. But I feel like maybe like just like make a change just to see how it goes. But I mean, at the same time, we did go on a 4-game win streak to end off the break, so maybe things are just picking up, and Tice has been playing better. So definitely up to Brad, and maybe make a change, maybe keep things the same, see how it keeps going. But even though the East is weak, we are still the 4th seed, and we're only like a few games back from the Bucks, so we definitely still have a chance to keep improving.
That's the point I was going to bring up was obviously we're starting to play better now, but we saw what we were 4 games ago. I mean, we were the 9 seed, 8 seed in the East at one point, and we were sub 500. And I think that's kind of where this debate started is it time to make a move? I don't know if having Daniel Tice with our current lineup and how we're playing right now, I don't know if I could say that's good enough to take down the East. I think it's worth at least giving it a chance to switch up the lineup and see what changes. What does Robert Williams offer to you if he's getting those starting minutes? What does he do on the court? Obviously, it's tough to argue that we should be switching now after we just went on a little hot streak, but how long is that going to last? I mean, we could very easily come out of the break and lose 4 straight, and now we're right back to where we were. And then
That's why it should be a game-to-game type of thing. Like, maybe to start the All-Star break, you're starting Tice because you just went on that streak and he helped with that. So, and then you go throughout the game and you decide who's playing better throughout the game, and that's who should play late. That's what Brad should be doing anyway, is writing out the hot hands each game. But if one starts to consistently play better than the other one, then I don't think there's any argument there. But I think during that stretch, Tice has played better. But Robert Williams has been really solid.
All right. Anything else on Tice and Robert Williams?
Just that if he was drafted 3 years ago? Robert Williams, 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
Yeah,
2 or 3.
I think he's from Texas A&M.
Yeah,
that might be wrong. I don't know. But the reason why he didn't play his rookie year, based what I think, which I know, I watched like a little bit of them in college, but from what I've heard from his like draft like analysis and stuff, it's just like mentally like he's just not the smartest dude. So that's why
supposed to be a lottery pick.
He was supposed to
drop down to like 27
because of his work ethic.
I remember his first practice. He missed the first practice. I think he like overslept or something.
Yep, that's exactly.
That's why he's
like
called
that.
the Time Lord.
Wait, that actually why they call him that?
Yeah,
So
because he missed like the interview after he got drafted. Then he missed the first practice because he overslept.
That makes
Not
sense.
the best start.
All right, I'm all set.
All right, well, moving on. The Celtics, obviously, for the past number of years, have always been talked about in trade talks. Everyone's talking about we're one piece away and whatnot. So that brings up the question, is it time to move on from Kemba Walker in the sense, would you be willing to give him up in a trade in order to acquire another piece? We'll start with you, Jacob Bassett, on this one.
Well, now this is a tricky question, John, because on that 4-game winning streak, Kemba got pretty hot and consistently was really good. Now, we've been in talks that we want Nikola Vucevic and Jeremy Grant, and a report came out today of Larry Nance that we might be going for. Now, I don't know if I'd give up Kemba for those. I'm going to lean towards no, I wouldn't give him up. He has proven that throughout most of his Celtics career, with the exception of when he just got back off injury this season, that he's been a really solid point guard for us. And he's starting now finding finding more ways to score and greater boost this team. So no, I do not want to give up Kemba Walker right now.
Okay, Bass. Okay.
Ross, you want
You know,
to go?
John, what do you think?
Oh, okay.
Bass, I kind of agree with you, and this is kind of tough to say because literally just the last episode we were talking about him being our most disappointing player. You know, he hasn't lived up to his expectations. If I'd answer the question, do I want to go out and trade him? No, I don't know if I'd really be throwing him out there as an offer. Would I be willing to trade him if a team came to me asking for him? Yes, I think he would have to be available on the market. I don't think he's done anything exceptional. Now, he has played great. He's looking like he's rebounding from his struggling beginning. But he's clearly not our number one player, and he's clearly not our number two player. And we're trying to get ourselves over the edge in the East and try to compete for a title. And I think if we're going to make a move, I think it should be pretty fair to say that he's on the market and available for the right price. That's my opinion. I love Kemba. I mean, come on. I love the man. I don't want to see him go, but I don't know if he's a player that we should be locking in and saying he's untouchable.
By no means do I think Kemba Walker should be untouchable with the current state of our team. I just think if Jeremy Grant and Vucevic are the guys you're going after and you're packaging Kemba, I just don't think that's a trade we should make.
Now, what if the package is basically revolved around just a straight up Vucevic for Kemba, pretty much straight up?
A straight up trade? I'm not doing it. I'm not going to do it. That leaves us backloaded at the center position and not that much depth with good guards. I mean, Smart would obviously be the starting point guard, and I don't know. I don't think he's really a point guard. Could be a point guard for a team. Peyton Pritchard would be coming off the bench, and he's been proven to be solid. And then our only other option is Jeff Teague, who we all know has stunk so far this season. So I don't think we can do a Kemba for Vucevic swap right now.
Philip, what do you think?
I think Boston would be idiots for trying to trade for Vucevic or Grant. Personally, especially Grant, I think that would make absolutely zero sense. Like, what would trading Kemba for Jeremy Grant accomplish for you? Getting another third scorer that's going to be just like Kemba Walker?
Well, no one said what we would trade for Kemba for him, though.
Well, just in general, like getting Grant staying in Detroit, Detroit for life. But yeah, he's staying in Detroit. I don't think he's going anywhere. But personally, I think Kemba should be traded. I don't think he should stay on this team. Ever since he got traded from Charlotte to Boston, his career, like his personal numbers have just went down. Like he's averaging up way less points. He's sharing the ball with two up-and-coming superstars who were all-stars this year. And I just feel like that shouldn't be the route that that Boston takes, is to keep him. Now, who to trade him for? Not a star like Grant or Vucevic or Larry Nance or whoever. I mean, yeah, Larry Nance you could, but that's a big contract. I don't know if you guys want that. But I think what Boston should do is trade Kemba Walker and get role players to come off your bench and maybe some picks or something. Because Boston's biggest problem is when Tatum and Brown go to the bench. They don't have that scorer that can just get the ball and like put the ball in the basket or like get the ball and like make a play. Like obviously Smart's hurt and he's like a big scoring part and like playmaking part of your team, but I just feel like getting someone like say like Lonzo Ball or like an explosive scorer off bench, say like Buddy Hield, I don't know, just someone random like that. Like that would personally make you guys more dangerous than getting another star on your team. Yeah. So yeah, I think Kemba should leave.
So your answer is yes, we should trade Kemba, but not for the names that are being tossed around in rumors.
Yep.
Tosh, you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, it is really tough because I love Kemba. He's a fun guy. He has a great personality. Like I think he's a good fit for the team. And obviously he struggled in the beginning, and it was like people are saying, "Oh, trade Kemba, he sucks." But like he's been really great recently. It depends. It's like for the right price. You know what I mean? I just don't want to like get rid of him to get rid of him and just get a like something that we absolutely need. But like I'm just gonna throw a name out there. But like someone like Mitchell Robinson, I feel like that would be a great center for our team. And I'm not saying like trade Kemba for him, but like he is just someone that would be great for the team. Part of me for the most part is saying keep Kemba just because like he is a great scorer. Like when he's hot, he's hot. Um, Especially over this like extended rest, I feel like he's only going to get better. And obviously, Phil was saying that his numbers are going down and everything, but like that's kind of what like I expected personally. Obviously, because he's going to be like a third seed. I mean, not third seed, third option. I want to say keep Kemba, but trade if the price is right for the right player. Because I feel Vucevic, I don't know because I feel like the Magic are gonna like ask for so much for Vucevic, and although it'd be nice to have Jeremy Grant, but the Pistons aren't gonna get rid of him. Like he's their guy. He's their first option. He's only been with the team for a half season. Like why would they get rid of him after a half season? Like they're supposed to be tanking too. So yeah, keep Kemba for the right price. It just depends on what we're exactly trying to trade him for.
All right, so it appears like the answers to these questions have kind of been like evolving throughout the season. I mean, we've had people ready to go right after Danny Ainge for not making a move. So I think a big question is, do the Celtics need to make a move before the deadline this year, or do you want to just roll with this roster that we have?
Make a move.
I think the Celtics can't win the East right now without a move being made.
I agree with that.
Now,
No.
I don't know what that move would be, but I think this with the current state of our roster and how they've played so far up to the All-Star break, we will not win the East or even get to the Eastern Conference Finals with the current roster we have. Unless someone comes out of nowhere and just goes crazy, like a Kemba or Smart comes back and averages like 20 or something like that, or Pritchard or anyone like that.
See, I agree with that. And, I've kind of given Ainge a hard time as far as like my always biggest thing was he's great at collecting assets. He's great at being a GM. He's won almost every trade that we've seen so far, but he's too scared to go all in on someone. And obviously it's something we've all wanted to see. We've all wanted to see a big splash, but as much as I agree with you, Bash, we can't win the East with this roster. I think that's pretty much a given fact, and we need to make a move in order to win it. But the biggest question is just, what's the move? Like everyone's pushing for Danny Ainge to make a move, but what is the move? Who are we going to target? Because we kind of have talked about the Jeremy Grant thing. I agree. I don't think he's going anywhere. I don't think Detroit's going to be willing to give him up unless someone's willing to give them a bunch. And is Vucevic really going to set us over the edge? Like, I think he's a great player. I think he would help our team out, but at what cost are we going to get him at? And how's that going to like lead to us winning the East? So I agree. We need to make a move to go further, but as far as trading right now, I don't know what the move is. Is it wait till free agency, see if we can play around with the roster then, or so that's why I feel like Ainge gets a lot of hate for what he's done. I think he's set up the team very nicely, and it's just he's slow playing and being patient because he doesn't know what the move is.
How does the trade exception work? Like, how long does it like last for?
I believe just this season.
I believe it's just
This
season.
season? It's tough because like what? It's like 28 million.
Yeah.
So like I feel like maybe not make a big move like during the season. Like I would love to get something off the bench, like maybe like more scoring, because our bench scoring is really not that good, especially with Smart out currently. I'm just gonna throw random names, like I don't know their contracts or anything, but like someone like Buddy Hield, like he can shoot the ball very well. Yes, he's not having his best season, but maybe like a change of scenery would be good for him because I feel like he's not very happy with that team, and the Kings are very underperforming. Maybe someone like Evan Fournier, just like bench scoring, or like Phil said something about Lonzo. I feel like Lonzo would be a great addition to our team, honestly, because he's a playmaker and he can get guys open.
He's a great defender.
Like, yeah, that too.
The two names you just gave, Koss, I would love those in theory, but those two guys are not going to come off the bench. Like Buddy Hield, I'm telling you right now, he will not come off the bench. And he will get so pissed off if he's going to have to come off the bench. And I believe that Evan Fournier will as well. Like those two guys would be great additions coming off the bench, but them themselves will not come off the bench.
Well, yeah, we
Which is
could
what
probably
makes it
just
tough.
like, yeah, I mean, if anything, like Tatum could be power forward and they could start at shooting, or I don't know. Just, I don't know. I think we should make smaller moves for bench players to maybe like boost us up a little, but I don't see a big move happening during the season. Probably during the off season or free agency, but I don't really see anything too big happening.
But even waiting till the offseason, that could screw us over because how's our salary cap looking? Doesn't
Tatum's max kicks in
Yeah.
next year.
So then we'll have three guys on the
him under
max.
that. Jaylen Brown just signed. I'm pretty sure his was like pretty much the same exact deal as Tatum, which just hit this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kemba Walker's under a max contract. I'm pretty sure Smart's contract isn't too bad. Isn't it like around 15 millish? Does that sound right? 12ish? Maybe?
Yeah, around there.
Something like that.
So I mean, you've got a lot of players. I mean, the max contracts alone and Smart. Where else are you going to build from with that? But it's also then who you're going to get rid of from that group.
It's so tough. I wish it was like the MLB where there's like no limit. Just sign whoever you want.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
So obviously we've talked about some moves. We all seem to be in agreement that we need to make a move to go over the edge. Now, the two biggest names have been Vucevic and Jeremy Grant. Now, if the price was right and the scenario played out, which one of those two players would you rather see in a Celtics uniform and why?
Between who? You said Grant and
Vucevic. Vucevic. You know I can't.
I know Phil's answer.
Can I say neither?
I mean,
But probably
if you want to
Vucevic.
totally dodge the question, then yeah. But the question, if the price was right, who would you rather see us go after?
120% Vucevic. That would help you way more than Grant. Grant's just another scorer that'll take shots away from, he's a ball hungry forward that'll take shots away from Brown and Tatum, while Vucevic won't need the ball 100% of the time. And you can also run your offense through him through the posts, like what Philadelphia does with Embiid. That's why the Magic are somewhat successful. It's because they run their offense through him and he makes plays. I'm not saying you should run the offense through Vucevic, obviously, but I think him down low getting rebounds is going to help you guys a lot. And obviously he can stretch the floor.
Now, Phil, I disagree with you for the exact same reason. I think Nikola Vucevic is going to demand the ball and work the game at a much slower pace than what the Celtics are used to. And I think that Jeremy Grant is a lot better at creating his own shots and is a versatile wing that will be an added score to the team. I don't think he'd be the best fit in Boston, but out of those two, I think he would be better than Vucevic, who doesn't really offer much on the defensive end at all.
That is true.
Bass, I agree with you a lot. I think obviously the center's position is a big thing that we should target. I mean, obviously we've talked about Williams versus Titus. Vucevic is a much better center as a whole, but as you mentioned, the defensive side of the ball and putting him in the team, as you said, he's going to demand the ball. He's going to do what he's used to, and he just slows the game down. Where Jeremy Grant plays very similar to Jason Tatum, in my opinion. I think he's pretty similar with the way he plays, and I think it'd be a better fit for us. The problem is, does that really add more to our team? That's why, me personally, if I had to pick one, I would go with Jeremy Grant because I think he's a better fit for the team as far as he matches how we play. I don't think that is a big improvement because who's going to come off the bench at that point, or is he going to be starting at 4?
And I think in the long run, a Jeremy Grant trade would cripple the Celtics because we'd have to give a king's ransom to go get him because he's the best player on their team. And he's not going to stay here in the long term. I can guarantee that, because the whole reason he left Denver is because he was a third option, or not like a primary option. And now he is a primary option and he likes that more. And then we're going to send him back to be a secondary option and he's going to hate that and just leave. So it'd be horrible in the long term to trade for Jeremy Grant. But I think taking that out, like right now, a better fit for our team between those two would be Jeremy Grant.
See, with the Jeremy Grant thing, I was actually very shocked to see that we're actually trying to target him. I mean, maybe because the Pistons beat us twice, and he's like, "Oh, he looks good," but I just feel like it's so random. Like, I don't like. He literally left the Nuggets to be a first option, so like, I feel like he would just be unhappy to not have the ball in his hands more times than Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. And it's tough because I feel like, yes, we need a better center, but maybe not like an all-star center, just someone who will be very good on the defensive end. But between Grant and Vucevic, I probably Grant, even though like it would hurt us in the long run. But it's tough. It's very tough.
All right, well, that is going to wrap up our segment on the Boston Celtics. But before we go, are there any more final predictions or comments on the team as a whole and what we've seen thus far in the season?
My prediction is that the Celtics will finish the season as the 3 seed.
Yes, sir. Same here. They're going to go over the Bucks. They're going to be behind Philly and the Nets. I think they're going to do way better in the second half. And hopefully we do make some small trades or moves or something, because I think it'll be very, very beneficial. And we're going to pick things up. This All-Star break is going to help us so much.
So I don't think I think they'll be the 5 seed. I think this is no particular order, but the Nets, Sixers, Bucks, and I think a team that's gonna surprisingly just barely beat them out is the Raptors. I watched like the Raptors Celtics game, like I don't know, 2 days ago it was, I don't know, something like that. And I'm just watching the Raptors as a team, and like they didn't have Siakam that game, which obviously is their best player. And just as a team, the Raptors will go as far as Lowry takes them, and I think Lowry will take them far. And that's why I think personally the Raptors will end up beating out the Celtics to get the 4 seed. But first round, the Celtics will beat them.
Big Booty Kyle, 19 assists that game.
And still lost, bro. Norman Powell's insane also.
I can't say I'm shocked with that one from Philip. I'm kind of on the same boat as the Jacob and Jake combo. I think that they're going to finish out the season strong. I think we haven't really seen too much of the Celtics at full strength, and I think they'll figure it out and get it together. Where we'll go in the playoffs, I think that remains to be seen, but I'm expecting a better second half. So that's going to wrap up the podcast. Thank you once again for listening. We all appreciate the love we've been getting, and that's it.
Like, subscribe, leave us comments, let us know. Like I said, we're trying to grow, trying to be the best. We appreciate all of you.
Inspirational, man.
All right, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you.
Thank you.